We continue our SCSA coaches chats and our season previews with the new head coach of the Kindersley Klippers. It is Kyle Schneider, who's taken over for Clayton Jardine, who has moved on to the Western Hockey League. Kyle, how are you doing? What a summer you had. L'Orange to Warman and now to Kindersley. Have you been able to wrap your head around it a little bit yet?
Yeah, no, obviously, thanks for having me on. And yes, it's been a busy summer. Obviously, I spent the last 4 years as the assistant coach in L'Orange under Kevin Kaminski and really did enjoy every second. Killer's a great coach and a great mentor. And this summer, I decided to take a different opportunity and move on, and was very short lived. And then I kind of was right place, right time, and got a call from the Kindersley Klippers, and I couldn't be more excited to be the head coach for the upcoming season.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like there's a lot of reasons to smile if you're Kyle Schneider right now. But one of them, for me personally, and anybody who knows him, is the opportunity to work with Ryan Gibson. And obviously, for those that don't know, you're going to be the head coach. He's going to be the GM. I would imagine it would be quite a work together situation. But how excited are you to work with Ryan? And I don't know how well you know him, but to get to know him if you don't.
Yeah, no, very excited and thankful to Ryan Gibson. We had a previous relationship, and obviously with his knowledge of the organization these last couple of years and being the assistant GM under Clayton, I think he was the right guy for the general manager job. He works very hard at his job. He's a great recruiter, a great communicator, builds really close relationships with our players, and that's a huge benefit to me coming into a new situation. He kind of has those relationships built, and now it's my job to build them as well with the players and get to know everybody. But just on the day-to-day, I think Ryan and I are going to get along just fine. We have a lot of similar interests, and we both love the game and have a passion for it and are trying to do our best for the Clipper organization.
Yeah, for sure. Love me some Gibby, no question. Grows a great beard as well, which is always very important. I got to ask you, about what you learned maybe from Kevin Kaminski, obviously watching him so closely. Obviously you played for Trevor Blevins as well a bunch in your career, and had opportunities to see a couple different different types of mentors. But stepping into your first job, having those guys sort of teaching you a few things probably helped too, eh?
Yeah, no, a ton. Obviously, Killer, he gave me my opportunity to stay in this game and to be a coach in this league. I owe my coaching career to Killer. He's a great mentor. He's given me a lot of reins and a lot of rope to do a lot of different things over these last couple of years, and kind of let me fail, and then was there to pick me up and help me work through things. I would say the biggest thing I would take away from Killer was his passion and his work ethic. He showed up at the rink every day with a smile on his face and ready to roll, whether it was a practice, whether it was folding laundry, whether it was games. He did it all up there, and he will continue to be a great leader for their team. As far as Trevor Blevins, obviously playing under him, we had a really successful season, made it to the league finals, and Battleford stole some rings off our fingers. But it was a great season, and I would say one takeaway from Blevins is kind of sticking to your guns and playing Melfort Mustang hockey. I don't think Melfort adjusts to many teams. They kind of play their game, and when they're rolling, they feel like they can beat anybody playing their game.
Well, they proved it last year, I guess, so hard to argue. But let's talk about the Kindersley Klippers then. Let's dive in. I know your favorite thing is to talk hockey, and me too, so let's do that. Obviously, you are new, but there are many, many guys on this Kindersley team that have been part of the core of what Clayton Jardine and the others around, Tyler Trapto, of course, who's moved on too, kind of built together. And so how helpful is it for you jumping in, knowing, you have such a kind of veteran group of guys who have been around Kindersley and playing together for so long?
Yeah, no, I feel incredibly lucky to inherit this group of players. Obviously, there's not too often in our league where you have 16 returning players. We have a veteran group full of a ton of character through my first couple of weeks with working with them. They show up with their work boots on, and they got the right mindset. And the goal is to win here, as every team is in the off season. Their goal is the bar is set high. But I think with just the quality of people returning to this organization, we're set up for success. And then Clayton and Ryan did a great job of filling in some holes where we had to do some recruiting. And I really think the depth is going to be one of our strengths of our team.
Yeah, for sure. Experience all over the squad, and certainly, that's going to help. And a couple pieces of experience you brought in one new guy and one that is back again. And I'm talking about Van Egger and I'm talking about Austin Oshovi. And those are two huge additions to, as we talked about, an experienced core that has been to the playoffs a couple of years in a row for Kindersley. But talk about what Van can bring to this group and what Austin can bring back to Kindersley.
Yeah, I'll start with Van. I think up front, he's a big body, obviously, for one. He's got a couple years of Western League experience. And when he was in this league as a younger guy, he had a lot of offensive success as well. I think he's going to bring, for starters, leadership to our team and experience. And then he has a good toolbox. He's got good speed. He can fly down the wall. I think he'll be hard to play against. And I really think Van is going to have some offensive opportunity this year with our team, and hopefully he can kind of take that and run with it and produce for us, because he's going to be a guy we rely upon. And then obviously adding Austin back to the Clipper organization, I had the opportunity to coach against him when he was 18 years old, and he's a pretty dynamic player. He's super heads up. He sees the ice incredibly well, and just to add another 20-year-old veteran to your blue line is something that not every team is able to do, and every team is looking for.
Yeah, for sure. And, obviously we could go through your returning guys, and we will over the course of the season, because I'm sure the expectations are quite high there in Kindersley. But I did want to touch on one of the real surprise slash breakout slash great stories of last year, and that's Brett O'Halloran, and having him, knowing that he's there as your goalie. Finding a number one goalie is so hard. I don't need to tell you. So the comfort level of having him there must be huge.
Just having Brett returning to this group, knowing that he's going to be here and knowing that it's his net to lose, I think gives Brett a lot of confidence. Over the last couple of weeks, just getting to be around him, I think that he is a super determined individual, and he has big goals for his hockey career. And I'm super excited to have a veteran goalie. I think he brings a calmness to the group when he plays. Obviously, last year, I don't think that he was expected to be relied upon as much as he was. And with due to injury or other circumstances, he really stepped up when the team needed, and was obviously the guy that they turned to when they needed a win. And that's going to be the same this year. That's the expectation for Brett, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to coach him.
For sure. Yeah, just two more questions, Nides. Really appreciate your time. This will be over by the time we release this, but I'll ask you anyways. You start your preseason on a little trip in Alberta. Obviously, given the fact that Kindersley's way out west there, it's not that huge of a deal for a road trip, I guess, to Lloydminster and Drumheller. But just talk about how excited you are, and I guess the value of a trip like that, to bond and to start the season together like that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I actually, in L'Orange, we had an opportunity to do it as well. We went on a Bonnyville and Fort McMurray trip, and it's just a great way to start off the season. Obviously, the time on the bus with your buddies, and we will be preparing for games, but road trips home, you kind of get to know guys on a personal level and get to spend lots of time with them. And then I think just showing off the SJHL in Alberta, I think it's pretty well known that there's a fierce rivalry within the Western Canadian leagues, and everybody is trying to be better than everybody else. And it's an opportunity for us to go to Alberta and kind of see what we have and put our chips down and see what Drumheller and Lloyd have to offer as well. Obviously, with the time of year it is, there will be some younger players competing as well, which is a good opportunity for them to showcase themselves in a different province as well.
Yeah, for sure. Those are always super fun. So I'm a little bit jealous, but I hope you guys have a great time. And then just the last question. I know again, we've talked about the job that Clayton Jardine did, and the whole staff. Obviously, Terrell Sweeney and Ryan Gibson, and the list kind of goes on. obviously Kyle Adamson part of that picture as well. But just talk about the buzz around Kindersley. And I'm sure you've moved there, been there for a little bit now. I guess just the excitement. All this time, it feels almost like, and you could tell me if this is wrong. It feels like that the Clippers have built for this season coming up, in a way. So I guess just talk about the hope and expectation and excitement around Kindersley right now.
Yeah, I think from the top down in this organization, I've been really impressed with everybody involved, the organization, and kind of just the eagerness of everybody willing to pitch in where they are needed is super exciting for me and makes my job easier. As far as the buzz around the community, I agree with you. I think with us having some local impact players is a big thing too. And I'm very excited about the opportunity that they have to play in their hometown. I think that's the coolest thing in the SJHL when players get to play for their hometown. And yes, we are built to win now. I think Clayton and Ryan's model is kind of um, building to win year and year after. They've done a great job of building a 50-man list that doesn't have that much turnaround for a roster from year to year, and I think that's a huge advantage. As we know, the SJHL will continue to be an older league, and where experience matters. And yes, you can give young players opportunities when they're earned, but at the same time, it's nice to have some wily veterans to rely on when the games get tough and we get into the dog days of December and January. And I'm really excited and looking forward to playing in front of all the Clipper fans in this town and showcasing ourselves every night.
Yeah, it's what you mentioned it there. It is wild to think that the Perlingers are still just '07s. And you mentioned local boys. Obviously, they're fan favorites there in Kindersley, and obviously, young Ethan Sautner had a huge rookie year last year too. So, a lot of reasons to be excited in Kindersley, not the least because of their fabulous new head coach, Kyle Schneider. Kyle, congratulations on the gig, and we'll talk very soon.
Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate all you do for the league.